everybody. This is Linda and welcome back to my channel. And I am a healer, a coach, and a facilitator. And in this channel, I bring you clarity about emotional intelligence concepts and practical spirituality and how you can use them in the day-to-day to create a more fulfilling and inspired life. So today, we are again going to do a tarot or a card reading, I should say, because it's tarot and oracle. And I've been doing this for the last couple of months, and I'm probably going to do it for another few months, and maybe I'll change up the reading a little bit in a while. Maybe after next month, I'll change up the readings. But for now, I'm going to continue with what I've been doing, which is basically just doing a reading on what the challenges are that are upcoming for you in the next few weeks. And then what is the shadow aspect or the subconscious aspect that is motivating that difficulty or that challenge, and then provide some guidance as to how you can approach it to try and address it and minimize or actually mitigate its impact. So, or basically prepare you for it. So as I've done in the past, in this column, the left column I'm going to have here, I'm going to show you this is what the challenge is. The next card is the clarifier card, which gives me a little bit more information or more clarity about the challenge. This is the shadow card, and these cards are part of the basic regular tarot card reading. And then these are, I forget what they're called, the blind spot, which are cards that are specifically to get what the subconscious motivations are, or what we call the shadow. And these cards are called the threads of fate. And I say this every time, these are my favorite cards. I love them, they're beautiful. Anyways, so cards that I'm going to be using, and I always say that this is supposed to be a quick reading, but then they never are. So I've only done this, I think, two other times before. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do it in a more efficient way, so I don't spend like 30 minutes giving you just a little bit of information. So with that said, I think I'm just gonna get started, and then if anything else comes up to mind that I need to mention, I will do that as we move along in the video. Okay, so the other thing is that this, you're gonna see cuts, and the reason why you don't see me drawing the card shuffling or drawing them is because I do all these videos in English and Spanish, and therefore I have to cut consistently back and forth between because the cards are set up, and I don't want to forget what the reading is. So I do a piece of it in English, then I go to Spanish, and then I turn back, etc. And I keep going back and forth. So with that said, so the first card that we have here, which is the challenge that you're going to be seeing for the next few weeks, is the Wheel of Fortune. And I'm going to put this card here. I'm actually seeing how my nail polish changes colors. It is meant to do that, by the way, but I just noticed it on the camera. So the Wheel of Fortune, and what the Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana. Now, the Wheel of Fortune represents destiny, divine intervention, good luck, karma. And I have said this in another one of the videos. I actually don't necessarily believe in destiny using the traditional definition of destiny, that is something entirely beyond your control. I do believe that we create our own destiny. And I could say more than that, but I don't, it goes a little bit beyond that, but I'm not going to get into it in this reading. But I also am not necessarily sure that I believe in luck, whether it's bad luck or good luck. I'm not really sure that I believe in that. As a matter of fact, I don't think I believe in that. But in any case, for the purposes of this reading, I just wanted to give you what the traditional meaning is. And the other thing is also, these are intuitive readings. So for the tarot cards in particular, which have a traditional meaning, I will give you the traditional meaning, but because the reading is intuitive, I normally go but whatever it is that I pick up in the cards, or the arrangement of the cards sometimes tells a particular story. I think that happened, I can't remember if it's last month or the month before, but there was a particular trajectory of a story that happened with the cards. So all of that comes from intuition. But again, the traditional meaning of the Wheel of Fortune is good luck, is destiny, is karma is divine intervention. So now the clarifying card here is the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups usually means new opportunities, but more specifically new relationships and new relationships, and not necessarily just romantic, though that too. But Cups usually refers, because it's related to water, right? Because cups hold water, is related to emotions. So the Cups cards usually cups cards, that sounded weird, usually relate to emotions. So when we get the Ace of Cups, Ace is number one, right, which is something is starting, something anew. So usually what it means is new relationships, new possibilities, new opportunities. So what I'm seeing here, that the challenge that you're going to be facing over the next few weeks is that things are going to be showing up, new opportunities, new possibilities, new options, new relationships. And again, not exclusively romantic relationships, but that too, are going to be coming up for you. And these are going to be what I would call destined. And I don't think you can see me, destined. I'm making quotation marks. I'm a little bit far away from the camera, but and what I will really, how I would like to interpret this idea of destined in this particular case is that there may be relationships, there may be possibilities, there may be opportunities that your soul decided upon before you entered this lifetime. Now, whether you believe in past lives or not doesn't really matter for the purposes of this reading, right? If you believe in readings and you believe in soul, in an eternal soul, so it was a decision that your soul made before you came into this lifetime. So I'm going to use the term destiny to refer to that. So there's these arrangements, so to speak, like sort of almost like travel planning, right, that we make when we come into a particular lifetime of certain people, certain situations, certain markers or milestones that are going to be important for us in our trajectory as a human being in this particular lifetime. And that's, I think, a closer definition of what, for me, of destiny. So in this case is that all of these new possibilities, all of these new opportunities, all of these new relationships that are going to be coming up for you were destined. Okay, let me do it there. All right, they were destined, right? Or they were prearranged by your soul and the soul of whomever else is involved, right? And the other thing is also, this card also means karma. And I have another video on my channel actually about karma. And since I did that video, I've actually come to understand, based on a comment that a friend of mine posted, that there are even more definitions of karma than what I thought there were. But my definition of karma has always been very different than the normal definition. This idea of like karma's a bitch, right? That karma is like you do something and you do something bad, you get punished, or you do something bad, a good, and you get a reward. My interpretation of karma is not that, and like I said, I've now come to understand that there are several different kinds of karma. But the karma that most people talk about, the karma that I really am talking about here, and especially when it comes to do with this card, is the idea of balance, right? That of having a balanced perspective, a balanced experience, but beyond that, the idea of cause and effect, right? Every cause has an effect. So for every action, there's a reaction, right? Or an effect that happens as a result. So that's what I talk about when I talk about karma. For me, karma is actually very neutral, and I found myself saying this a lot lately. I'm not really sure why, about a lot of words, karma, energy, etc. It's neutral, right? It's not positive or negative. It's just a direct result or a direct consequence of an action that you took. So I don't view it as punishment. I don't view it as a reward. I view it as you took an action, and there is therefore a consequence as a result of that, and that is the karma. So again, when we talk about this particular card, the Wheel of Fortune, which is also a major arcana, we're talking about this idea that about karma and destiny and divine intervention. And we can put all of those together by saying that these are things that were intended by your higher self or by your soul to happen. For those of you who believe in God, you could use maybe the term God, the universe, whatever it is that rocks your boat. But for me, what I personally view it as is there's these new connections that will be coming in, these new opportunities, these new relationships that were predetermined, if I could say. That's actually not the best word to use, but were prearranged, let's say that, prearranged by your higher self and your soul. Now, a couple of clarifiers that I want to make here is that when I say new relationships, new opportunities, new possibilities, this doesn't necessarily mean that is something completely new. It could be, for example, a relationship that had ended and now flourishes again or gets rebirthed through this process. That would also be considered as something new, right? Or a relationship that takes a new form, that is renewed. So it doesn't have to be something that is completely new that you've never encountered before. It can be something that's been in your life before, relationship, possibility, opportunity that's been in your life before, but is now either changing to something completely different or had left, gone, whatever ended, and is now coming back around. Okay, so the one other thing that I also want to mention is that I am reading this as a challenge. Okay, so this is the challenge that you're going to be seeing for the next few weeks. Now, but I want to clarify specifically because of the cards that I got here, this doesn't mean that because I'm talking about this in the context of challenges, this doesn't mean that what's coming up is necessarily bad. What it can mean is that it's going to be a challenge, right? So it's not necessarily that it's good or bad as much as it is that's going to pose a bit of difficulty for you, but it also can be that it is in fact a blessing in disguise. And this is the part of the reading that goes more intuitively, right? So meaning that sometimes we tie ourselves to the form of what we want, right? So sometimes we want something to happen, whether it's destined, karmically, whatever. We want something to happen in a particular way with a particular person at a particular timeline, right? And it may still happen, but it may not look exactly like what we wanted it to happen, okay? And that could also be the challenge. It may not be that this is going to be difficult, that this new opportunity, new relationship that is been prearranged is going to present difficulties for you, or it's going to be difficult. It may be that your perception of the situation may be difficult when it in fact is not. Okay, so I did want to clarify that, because I do think also I actually felt that very strongly, and a lot of times what happens is that we have this very clear-cut idea of how we want something to happen, and when it doesn't happen the way we want it, we find it, we think it's not good, or we deem it as difficult, etc. So with that being said, I'm going to go look into the shadow. And this is a card that I have to read from the book, because as you could probably see here, they're numbered and they're, they're abstract. So it's not like I can tell from looking at it, but it is card number 77. And for some reason, I feel like it has something to do with what I just said. But anyways, let me just look it up. 77. Nope. Says it? No. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So car 77. Okay, here we go. Huh. Interesting. So 77. It says upset with a question mark. And it says, if you have drawn this sigil, you do not have real clarity about why you are upset. You may even be denying that you are upset when you most definitely are. Improvement in this situation will happen once you can admit to the fact that you are upset and clearly understand why. Upset is your internal guidance system telling you that in this moment, an aspect of your life is out of alignment with what you desire. If your emotions were a compass, an upset is your compass alerting you that you have moved off a due north course. Approach the upset with an attitude of, I am being called to become aware of something in this moment. You must address each upset with the awareness that the upset is valid. Let the discomfort of the upset snap you awake and bring all of your focus to the present moment so that all of your conscious attention can be placed in the situation at hand. There are 3 main ingredients that create the recipe of upset: an intention or desire that is supposed or prevented, an expectation that has been unfulfilled, an unsuccessful communication. Interesting. So that's how actually this relates to what we were talking about a minute ago, right? So it's this idea that that what you want is coming to you. This new opportunities, this new relationships, this new possibilities are coming to you, but you may be upset. So this is the challenge, right? You may be upset because they're showing up for you in a way that is not the way that you necessarily anticipated or the way that you wanted them to show up. In spiritual circles, we tend to call that the form, right? A good example of that is, for example, when we say we want love, we want a successful romantic relationship, but we want it with one particular person, and that actually may not be the best person or the person that is best suited for us, or maybe it is the right person, but it's not the right time, etc. So all of those things are our attachment to what it looks like, our attachment to the form. And basically what this is saying is that there may be some challenges because while there's going to be this possibilities that are going to be coming, opportunities that are going to be coming your way in any number of aspects of your life, and they were sort of prearranged by your higher self, right? By your soul, by God, the universe, however you want to call it. They may not look exactly the way that you want them to look. The other way that you can look at it in particular is that they are coming to you for the very purpose of upsetting you, for the very purpose of, like the book says, to awaken you. That this new opportunities and possibilities may not be what you want, may not look like the way that you want them to look. But the reason for that is because they're meant to awaken you to something else, maybe to a different desire, maybe to a deeper desire, maybe to awaken you to a different path. And take that as it resonates. So there's 2 sort of possibilities here, and that doesn't usually happen. At least it hasn't happened in the 2 other readings that I did before and other personal readings that I do. But this time, for some reason, I'm getting both of those, and it could be either or both. So take that as it resonates with you, okay? Now, for the guidance for these, we got 2 cards. We have the card of compassion, which is, I don't know what that is. It's sort of like the skeleton of, like, maybe, I don't know, a goat or something. I don't know. So that's there it is. And then the other card is the Creator. And just looking at this intuitively, and I'll read what's in the book in a minute, the 2 things that come to me is for the compassion card. What comes up is to have a little bit of compassion for yourself while you're going through this process, right? While you're sorting through this idea of what your desire is, what's coming to you, those opportunities that are coming to you. If it is that, they're not exactly what you want. And even furthermore, if even through the process of examining these opportunities, you come to realize that you manifested this and this is not your deep desire, to have some compassion for yourself, right? And I say this a lot in a lot of the classes that I teach in a support group that I help run, that we go through our lives and we spend a lot of time trying to be compassionate towards others, and we have a hard time and oftentimes forget to extend the same courtesy to ourselves. So to have a little bit of compassion for yourself, and I would even add patience for yourself while you go through this process. I mean, we are energetically right now, I'm recording this in July 2020, and energetically for the last few months, and probably for more than likely for the rest of this year, we are blasted with a lot of energy. There's a lot of energetic shifts happening. So our physical bodies, our minds, our hearts are just going haywire. There's all kinds of things happening, and some of it is really good, and some of it is, I wouldn't say bad, but it's with a different purpose, right? It's bringing up a lot of energy and a lot of subconscious stuff to have it cleared. And that process is not always a pretty process, and it can oftentimes be very painful. So have a lot of compassion with yourself while you're going through this process, and have a lot of compassion for yourself if you get, these new opportunities that are showing up for you, right? All of these things that were prearranged because they are for your expansion, but they don't look the way you want them to look, and you get upset about that, and you get discouraged by that. Have some compassion for yourself, okay, throughout that process. And then the other intuitive hit that I'm getting from this, which is the Creator card, is to remember that we create our own destiny. I think I showed that earlier, but we create our own destiny. So it doesn't matter what is being manifested in your life. It doesn't matter what is showing. I mean, it does matter. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. It does matter. But whatever shows up, remember, you are the creator of your own life. And you can, when you come into alignment, when you allow yourself to go into the truth of the shadow, the truth of whatever subconscious motivations, desires, beliefs are behind your actions, when you allow yourself to feel your emotions fully, and heal and really release all of that trauma, you can create and manifest from a place of alignment, and you can really access the full divine power, the full capacity of your divinity and your ability to create. Okay, so that's the intuitive hit for that. So let me just go look at the book and see what it says. Here we go. Okay. So for compassion, now more than ever, we need to expand our ability to be compassionate towards self and others. There has been a trend in shaming and rejecting people who disagree with us and justifying doing so by using sweeping generalizations. Compassion calls us to remember that every human is a product of their environment and is incredibly nuanced. Okay. Now, the Creator. Creator finds us when we need to move the raw and pure energy in our body and allow it to physically manifest. To be with creation is to simply interpret that which is already within us. There are no rules for creation. Creators have a playful disposition and are skilled at turning challenges into opportunities to problem solve, as opposed to allowing themselves to get defeated. There is a flexibility and fluidity inherent in Creator, which is electric and can serve as a catalyst for others to tap into their own wells of inspiration. So it's talking about how creating is just a really natural part of our divine nature, and how it actually can be very playful. And the act of creation is playful, but the Creator itself is actually a very playful person, and that is electric, and it can be a catalyst for others. Okay. So in summary, the challenge that we're going to be seeing over the next few weeks is that it's destiny, karma, divine intervention. That a lot of these milestones or placeholders and people that are meant to come into our life because our soul prearranged for that will be showing up, and that's going to create a lot of new opportunity, new relationships, new possibilities for us. But those could potentially not look the way that we want them to look. And therefore, we may have some trouble with them because they're not the form. They're not coming at the time that we wanted, or through the person that we wanted, or the exact opportunity that we wanted. And we may find some difficulty in that and get upset because of that. But also that we may be perceiving this incorrectly, that we may be perceiving this dynamic here as a challenge when in fact it's just another possibility, or another opportunity to awaken. It's an opportunity to either awaken further, or tap into a deeper desire that we have. And the guidance for the next few weeks is that we need to remember to have compassion for others, but also a lot of compassion for ourselves during this process. And again, I'll add patience as well, because in order for us to be able to heal this and to resolve this so that it goes according to a higher plan, we need to be able to tap into our true desires, our true emotions, so we can then really ignite the power of creating the life that we want, manifesting in the 3D, manifesting in this world the life that we want to see. So with that, thank you very much for your attention and for being here with me. And until next time, namaste.